There'll be none of that today, nor should there be. But we'll talk a lot of Rays baseball over the course of the next three-plus hours or so. We've got a lot to do on this beautiful 2 for Tuesday. At the bottom of the hour, we love Tuesday. Our two big features. The Rays will be in their forever home by 2029. You're going to take it or leave it. That's coming up at the bottom of the hour. I saw him yesterday, too, by the way. I thought he was going to call security on my ass. Ran into Eric Neander on the stairwell and ran into a couple of other interesting people, too. I'll get into that in a matter of moments. Yeah, I get it. No grunting today. Your team looked good yesterday. By the way, in the 3 o'clock hour, a very special guest will join the program. A Rays player, if you will join the program.
Yes, sir.
Wait, what? What?
I'm not confirming anything. We will find out momentarily, Tom, and we're going to let you obviously bring it to these airwaves. One's confirmed.
So here's how it works. Every Tuesday during the baseball season, the Rays are kind enough, thanks to our guy Elvis over there with the Rays, we get a Rays player that joins us every Tuesday. And the way it works is I give them a list of my 3 preferences. And in order of who I want the most, 1, 2, 3, and they give us, hopefully, our number 1 or number 2. They give us one of the 3. And we'll find out in the 3 o'clock hour. And I have 3 really good requests out there. Let's just put it that way. So in the 3 o'clock hour, we will talk to a Rays player. And it might have been one that was significant in yesterday's opening day win. Speaking of the Rays insider Mark Topkin at TampaBay.com. You will join us coming up at 4:05, and we'll get his thoughts on opening day and the pomp and circumstance around it and all the dignitaries that were there, the political heavyweights that were there too. What does that mean for the Rays on the field? What does that mean for the Rays off the field? Mark Topkin at 4:05. Then at 4:30, oh, I love this. We got fill in the blank. Chandler Simpson will steal blank bases this season.
None yet.
That's coming up at 4:30. We're on the air to 5:30. And then, ladies and gentlemen, it's our coverage of Rays baseball. Ronnie Lane with ABS Challenge is coming up at 5:30 to get you set for the Rays and the Cubs, Game 2 of a 3-game set from Tropicana Field. When today's lineup is out, we will give it to you. Drew Rasmussen, the Rays opening day starter, will go against Javier Assad, who's in there for Matt Boyd. So this is a reliever who's a starter. The pitching matchup would tend to favor the Rays. Well, we know how baseball is. Baseball is such a strange sport. And every game that you go to, you're almost guaranteed to see something that you've never seen before. Well, guess what, guys? Yesterday being at Ferg's, which was an incredible show. First off, let me do this before we get into the Rays and everything that we saw yesterday. I want to thank each and every one of you who came down to Ferg's yesterday. It was packed. It was awesome. What a great atmosphere. The guest list was off the charts. I mean, Brian Hartline to start the show, Rob Higgins, Brian Anderson. I mean, Brett Phillips was unbelievably good yesterday. That guy could run for mayor either in St. Pete or Tampa, and he would probably win. So infectious, so energetic, so positive, so enthusiastic. Brett Phillips might have been my favorite interview yesterday. He was awesome. But I want to thank each and every one of you who came down, watched the show. We had an awesome day yesterday at Ferg's, and the people that I saw and met and ran into at Tropicana Field yesterday for the home opener. There was one guy who came down to Ferg's who drove 2+ hours just to see me. And I'm still like flabbergasted at that. Who in the hell would drive 2 hours just to see me? But a guy did, and I give him a lot of credit. He actually works over at Moss Nissan. So I really appreciate that guy for going the extra mile. I mean, I was extremely humbled by everyone that I crossed paths with at some point yesterday. It was incredible. It was great to be back into the Trop. It was great to see some very familiar faces, some people who have worked there for many years, Some of them went over to Steinbrenner Field. Some of them did not. The people who did not, it was great to see them yesterday at the Trop, just doing their thing. Our guy, Tom, one of the security guys at the press level, long-time Tampa Bay guy. It was great to see him. It was great to see our girl, Marlene, at the Baldwin Club. Haven't seen her in more than a year. She was not at Steinbrenner Field. So all these wonderful people that work inside of the Trop, at the concessions, at the club level, at the press level, everywhere else in between. It was awesome to see some very familiar faces and some new faces as well. Yesterday was a great day. Nothing to sugarcoat it. And, you know, I had unfortunately, I had to mute some people on Twitter who are just ignorant beyond belief. I don't want to hear any negativity about the building, about the Trop. It wasn't sold out. The upper deck was closed, imbeciles. I'm not calling all of you imbeciles, just a handful of people who don't know what the hell's going on, don't even know what day it is. There was nobody in the upper deck. Shut up! You freaking people, let me tell you. I've had it up to here. But yesterday was an awesome day. It was. From beginning to end, just want to thank everybody who made their way to Ferg's, everybody who made their way to the game, and they were treated to an awesome game. A Rays victory, if you will, with Shane McClanahan on the mound doing his thing. And he made some very interesting comments afterward. Dome, sweet dome. That is the theme of our opening drive here on a 2 for Tuesday.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio presents the opening drive.
An impressive opening drive.
What an opening drive.
With TKras.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was an historic day. It was a momentous day. And even if you're not a big fan of Tropicana Field, and look, I haven't been in terms of the facilities in relation to the rest of them in Major League Baseball, it's right at the very bottom. I mean, we have to be honest about that conversation. However, by the same token, you also have to be honest about its place in history and how a lot of people have grown to be very, I don't know, appreciative, I guess, of the Trop and what it means to a lot of people. And I'm certainly very understanding of that. Maybe I didn't completely comprehend that until I walked back into that building yesterday with all of you. And there was something special about walking back in there. Kudos to the workers, and the Rays honored them before the game. Eric Church, incredible national anthem. Mayor Castor of Tampa, Mayor Welch of St. Pete throwing out the first pitches. I thought that was a really interesting, nice gesture by the Rays to get both sides of the bay. Look, at the end of the day, and as Rob Higgins mentioned to me yesterday, he's Mr. Team Tampa Bay. We're all in this together. And a bridge should not be the divide between the Pinellas side and whether the team should be there, or the Tampa side, whether the team should be there. Should be on the Tampa side for a lot of the reasons that we've talked about really for the last 15 to 20 years, for as long as I've been here, which is more than 20 plus years, 23 years almost. But I walked back into Tropicana Field yesterday, and there was a sense of nostalgic, there was a sense of sentimentality walking back in there. I thought the workers did an extraordinary job. And yes, the place did look brighter. There was more energy in the building. Obviously, being 25,000 plus, a sellout crowd certainly helped. But there was an X factor, like an undefinable trait that felt like there was hovering over us yesterday while we were inside that building for opening day. And I think the Rays fed off that energy as well. And it showed after they got off to a very slow start. They managed to pick it up a notch or two, and there were some great plays made defensively. Chandler Simpson made an awesome catch up against the wall, and I love the emotion he showed afterward. And then the Rays and their bats started to do some talking, too, after they fell behind 2-0 as well. And the Rays used the strength of 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 long balls. And it started in the second inning thanks to one of the Rays' newest players.
Long drive, deep to right. Down the line, got a chance. Gone! Two-run homer. Cedric Mullins. We're all tied up.
The great Andy Free with the call right here on your home for Rays Baseball, WDAE. Cedric Mullins, who got off to a rough start, he was 1 for 21, is starting to pick it back up a little bit. Look, I'm not expecting, a 30-30 type of season from him, which is what we saw a couple of years ago, I believe, when he was in Baltimore. But if he gets you 17, 18 home runs and steals 20-plus bases, that's what he's done recently. That is a fair and reasonable expectation. I think there's a chance he can absolutely do that. I thought that was a huge moment in that game. His home run tied it up. It was on a 3-2 pitch. Looked like a changeup, too, right down there in the zone, and he didn't miss it. And that was a great thing about what you saw from the Rays yesterday, because the Cubs made a lot of mistakes, both in the field. I thought their defense was porous, and their pitchers left a lot of pitchers up in the zone, and the Rays made them pay for it. An error by Dansby Swanson allowed, how about this, Taylor Walls to score, and that to me was surprising. Seeing Taylor Walls being activated, and I think that's a move that nobody saw coming. We'll talk to Mark Topkin a little bit later about that. And he was able to contribute to this game here yesterday. And that's how the Rays took the lead, and they never looked back. And in the third inning, their best hitter, their best player, the 22-year-old phenom, oozing with charisma and oozing with bat speed and talent, Junior Caminero answered the bell.
Junior Caminero launches a home run to right field. No doubter for Junior, and the Rays have a 4-2 lead.
Andy Free with the call right here on WDAE and Junior Caminero. We talked about this. We were at Ferg's yesterday. He had his first home run Sunday, and I mentioned for 3 hours it was always a sign of things to come, with great hitters, great power guys, and Junior did this last year when he hit 45 home runs. When he gets that first one under his belt, usually there's more to come soon thereafter, and they come in bunches. Home run on Sunday, home run yesterday. And Junior feels more like his old self, bouncing around the bases, showing that enthusiasm. And it looks like a locker room of really good guys who are there for each other. So that was a huge part in that game. And then in the seventh inning, maybe the nail in the coffin of the Chicago Cubs came via Jonathan Aranda.
Swinging a high fly ball, right center field. On the run, Shaw to the wall, gone! Two-run homer, Jonathan Aranda, and it's 6-3 Rays.
Andy Free with the call once again. Jonathan Aranda lets one fly, and it ends up being a 6-4 Rays victory. And there was just, again, so much emotion in that building. The ending of the game was just perfect and ideal. It capped off what was a great day for baseball and a great day for Tampa Bay. And the Rays were able to get it done, winning the game 6-4. I want to talk about Shane McClanahan because he had a very interesting outing. He went 4 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs. He only gave up 1 hit. He struck out 5 over 4. He also walked 4. So the walks have been a thing so far for Sugar Shane in the first 2 starts. 8 2/3 innings, you don't want to see the walks. But also in those 8 2/3 innings, when it came to Shane McClanahan, in terms of what he's been able to do, he's not giving up many hits, guys. And I think I saw a lot of positivity. Look, I know the butterflies, the excitement was there for him yesterday, being able to start the home opener after everything that he's been through. I think that was something that was galvanizing for him. He's an emotional player. He's also a fierce competitor. But he's also very hard on himself as well. 7 walks so far in the 2 starts over 8 2/3. He's struck out 9, and he's only allowed 3 hits. I think there's a lot of positives to draw from this. I think the stuff is there. Yeah, the command is still something that's a work in progress. And from what I've been able to see, and from the people that I've talked to, I think it's more of him, and I know he doesn't want to hear this, but he hasn't been doing this in 2.5 years, going on 3 years. So being able to get back into the swing of things right off the bat might be a little too much to ask. And I think it's just a matter of him repeating his delivery, the muscle memory. And I think start, 14, 15, 16 are going to be a lot more crisp with better control of the strike zone and being in the zone and getting guys to chase. The stuff is there. The changeup is there. The fastball velocity is good. You got the slider. You got the curveball. So the stuff is there. It's just a matter of harnessing his command, which is going to come with each and every start. He's going to get better and better as long as he maintains those mechanics, repeats that delivery. And once all of that comes together for Shane, I think the sky's the limit. I think what you saw yesterday was very, very positive out of Shane. The first 2 starts, to be able to give up only 3 hits, if he cuts out the walks, I mean, yes, his upside could be very high. And what you saw yesterday, and I think the Rays have to be very encouraged, is the fact that Shane McClanahan's healthy. The stuff is there. As long as he gets a hold of the command, I think the sky's the limit both for him and maybe the Rays' upside might be a little bit more than what we thought. Because if McClanahan is right, and the starting pitching's been very good so far. You're going to see Rasmussen going tonight. His ERA's under 2. Nick Martinez has been fantastic in 2 starts. I thought Steven Matz, both of his starts have been very good outside of 1 bad pitch in his first outing in St. Louis. I thought Matz has been fantastic, and Ryan Pepiot is going to be coming back very soon. Starting pitching's where it's at, and it looks like the Rays have it all together, which is going to help them win maybe more games than we thought they would win. But after the game, Shane McClanahan had a really, really interesting response to all the talk that, well, it's a great feel-good story. Shane McClanahan coming back and doing his thing. He wanted to hear nothing of it after the game. Listen to Shane.
Yeah, obviously I'm very thankful to be back, but I'm tired of that. I want to pitch better. I want to win. I'm not here to be a feel-good story. I'm here to win a lot of Rays. I'm here to win a lot of ball games for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm not here to be the guy that came back from a couple injuries. I hate that. I want to put that behind me. I want to go out there and be the pitcher I know I can be. Obviously, like I said, it's not like riding a bike, unfortunately. I wish it was because I'm damn good at riding a bike. But I'm going to make the adjustment. It's frustrating.
Wow. That doesn't sound like a pitcher who's back and whose stuff looks pretty good. The walks, he expects a lot out of himself. This is a 2-time All-Star. He's a great competitor. And his bar is set really, really high. I think considering he's been off for as long as he's been off, I'm talking about the time that he's missed because of the injuries and, the personal tragedy that he went through with losing his dad and everything else, which a lot of people, including myself, can certainly sympathize with. I think Shane is in a really good place. And you heard him. I don't want to hear that feel-good talk. I'm here to pitch, and I'm here to win games, and that's exactly what you want to hear out of a great competitor. And I'm telling you, if this continues, the Rays could very well be a surprise team. I mean, you see the offense, the way it's looking so far. I get it. It's only 10 games. We've got a long way to go. But so far, so good. I think the offense has been better than expected. The starting pitching's been pretty good. The bullpen last couple of games has gotten better. Certainly a nightmarish type of start. But, if the Rays can shore up that bullpen with Edwin Uceta getting healthier, Hunter Biggie has given them some really good innings so far. I realize it's a very tough division. And look, the Cubs will push them. The Cubs are still a really good team, even though they're 4-6. I think the true test will come this weekend when the Yankees come to town. Yankees are a first-place team. They're off to a good start. They're 7-2. Their pitching has been really, really good so far this season. I think the Rays will have a better guess and more of a measuring stick type of series as this weekend, and they'll have a better understanding as to how good they are or how much better they have to be in order to compete with the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and I know the Red Sox are in last place right now at 2-8. Blue Jays have actually lost 5 in a row. Baseball's weird, man. It's also very early in the process. So I wouldn't look too much into what teams are doing right now. And we always have this conversation every year, and it bears repeating. The first true check mark comes around Memorial Day weekend when you're about, believe it or not, a quarter of the way to a third of the way through the season. Once you get 54 games through the season, which is a third of the way, then you get a better understanding. Okay, maybe we can be better than expected, or we might not be as good as we thought we were. And that's a conversation that all these teams will be having once you get to like the Memorial Day weekend part of it, when you're about 50, 54 games, almost a third of the way through the season. But so far through 10 games, the Rays are 5-5, and they appear to be maybe a little bit better than some people may have thought before the season. I think it's a good place to be. And they have an opportunity to be even better than that once, Ryan Pepio re-enters the starting rotation. They got Taylor Walls back a lot sooner than I thought they would get him back. That's a good thing. Edwin Ucetta's another guy that will be back hopefully in a couple of weeks. I think he's a difference maker. Might be early, but maybe, just maybe, if you're a Rays fan, you're clinging to that hope that perhaps they might be a little bit better than what we thought. All right, your thoughts, 888-388-0957. Text at 82945. A lot to do here on this show today. Don't forget, in the next hour, a very special guest will join us. A Rays player will be with us in the 3 o'clock hour. Stay tuned for that. Mark Topkin at 4 o'clock. Fill in the blank at 4:30. We're off the air at 5:30. Then it's Sacrifice Fly with Ronnie Lane at 5:30 to get you set for Game 2 tonight. Rays and the Cubs over at Tropicana Field. The second game over at the Trop. And what a day it was yesterday. I'll get into the Trop and my walk around and everything else and the people that I ran into and the things that I was hearing when I was inside of the Trop. I'll get into that as this show progresses. We'll get to your texts. We'll get to your calls. Ron, you'll be up first on the other side. Also, when we come back, speaking of the Rays, you know where they're at now at the Trop for at least 3 more years? What about their forever home? The Rays will be in their new ballpark by 2029. Are you going to take it or leave it? That's coming your way next year on The Drive. Stay with us.
You're tuned in to The Drive with TKras.
It is The Drive, driven by our guys over at Moss Nissan, where their goal is to always never lose your business over price. TKras and Chris Mathis here. Big deals are always going down over at Moss Nissan. Chris Mathis, tell them about it.
That they are. Plenty of new car offers and great specials ongoing at Moss Nissan all month long. Plus, you're going to spend $0 in gas costs for 90 days at Moss Nissan. How about that? You can't beat that. We all could use that.
You got that right. With gas prices way over $4 a gallon, that is a big game changer. And Moss Nissan is giving it to you, as well as 0% on Nissan's best-selling models, the Rogue, the Pathfinder, the Frontier, the Murano. All great vehicles. I've actually owned 3 of those 4 vehicles, and no payments for 90 days. Saw the great Brad Meredith at the game yesterday and some of his peeps over at Moss Nissan. They support the community as much as you support them. So check them out. 3 locations: North Tampa, Newport Richey, or Brooksville.